Wild weather, cars slipping off the track, and who's walking away with the Lightning Bolt trophy on the podium? It's round 2 of the 2021 F1 season in Emila. Coming up next on this edition of Post Checkered Flag. Hi everybody, Mike from LA1 here. Hope you guys are having a good day. This is being posted literally several hours before, so let's not waste any time. Let's get to the results and my thoughts of this Formula One race, as well as some breaking news, which we're going to start with right now. Yes, as I alluded to this earlier in the rumor video that Haas F1 was going to get bought out, which I really hope not. And by the way, we'll talk more about this in a later video during my Road to series. I am very happy to say the United States just got another race for 2022, and it is going to take place in sunny Miami, near Hard Rock Stadium in Miami in 2022. It's going to be a street circuit, and to be honest, I'm actually also excited, but I'm a little kind of disappointed that we'll get to that disappointment in just a minute here. But overall, this is nice. Where Circuit of the Americas is going to go, because I believe this is the last year of its contract. So either COTA is going to be a NASCAR circuit from here on in, or they're going to work around this contract. And especially if Indianapolis is going to get the U.S. Grand Prix back, which is going to be interesting. And if that does happen and COTA becomes NASCAR only, yeah, if that does happen, IndyCar goes to Indy. Remember that video I made about the top 10 tracks I would want to visit? The Brickyard will probably pass Talladega. And I hate to be controversial, but I hate to say it, but it's probably true. But another rumor besides Indy is Las Vegas is going to get is vying for that other race as well. Now, I would be upset about that, but to be honest, it's not that much of a hassle. All I got to do is just find a flight, because from LA to Vegas is like a 45-minute flight. So it's not that big of a hassle. I wish Long Beach hopefully Long Beach gets a return down the road, but let's be honest. I know people are going to say, oh, California is not a good racing market. Well, except for Long Beach, because Long Beach is an IndyCar town, which might turn the FIA and Formula One away. But wasn't there a iRacing proposal of an LA street course? Maybe the Los Angeles Grand Prix does have a nice ring to it. But I'm wasting time with this news. Let's talk about the race. And if I do have a chance, I will be happy to attend a race in Miami. Because, come on, it's Miami. Let's get to the results. Now, I should mention, I'm going to mention this right now. There were a ton of penalties that that were handed out after the race. So we're going to get those in straight away. Okay, the first penalty, and we got to talk about the biggest loser due to penalties. It's Kimi Räikkönen. Apparently during the which we didn't actually see this because they didn't catch this. Great job, guys. Apparently he made a all start during the restart after a major wreck that caused a red flag. We'll get to that in a minute. So the stewards handed Kimi a 30-second time penalty, and he was supposedly finished ninth, getting points. And because of this, he fell to 13th. That really sucks for Kimi. And I believe there was another penalty handed to Lance Stroll, a.k.a. Sir Lancelot. Although, to be fair, he didn't fall that much. He fell from 7th to 9th, I think. So, yeah. There's that. And Sergio Perez. During the race, he had a 10-second stop and go penalty, and it wasn't just him that got a 10-second stop and go. Whoops, wrong one. Sebastian Vettel also got one, and in fact, he didn't even finish the race. I believe he was having engine issues, and right near the end of the race, he retired from the race. Well, that, and while we're on the subject, we almost had a big major penalty with one Yuki Tsunoda. And to this race, he got his first points, making him a rise on the star, and it's good. He didn't even get a point at all. All right, now let's not waste any time. Let's see who got points for their respective teams. All right, penalties included. In 10th place, Fernando Alonso finally getting his first points in Formula One since 2018. In 9th place, Esteban Ocon getting his first points of the season. So a double points not for Alpine. Very nice work. Oh, in 8th place, yeah, I screwed up. It wasn't 9th. It's Lance Stroll in 8th. My bad. He just dropped a bit. In 7th place, Pierre Gasly. In 6th place, it's Danny Ricciardo. In 5th place, and boy, what a resurgence for Ferrari, Carlos Sainz. And in 4th place is his teammate, Charles Leclerc. And in 3rd place, yeah, be careful, McLaren's going to be really scary. In 3rd place, just his 2nd podium in his career, is Quadrant's own Lando Norris. And in 2nd place, get in there, Lewis, it's Lewis Hamilton. And in 1st place, and boy, great redemption here, Max Verstappen. So far, podium count, 2 for Red Bull, 3 for Mercedes, and 1. Now we can add McLaren to the list. How long is it going to be until Ferrari gets another podium for them? But now let's get to my thoughts. Boy, Mother Nature can make a race interesting, because during the formation lap, I believe Charles Leclerc actually spun out during the formation lap. And boy, it was definitely, that's when I knew, oh boy, this is going to be bad. And boy, it was, because almost immediately, Lewis had floor damage because I believe his car hit the curb up toward Semabolica, where unfortunately Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna were killed in that area. But not that far from this. Now let's get to the Williams team. Let's start with Nick Latifi first, because he also spun into Semabolica as well. And if that wasn't bad enough, within several minutes later, within like a few seconds later, Latifi miscalculated, bumped off Nikita Mazepin, because he has to appear in here somewhere. Latifi miscalculated, thought he was clear, he bumped into Mazepin, he hit the wall, major damage, Latifi out of the race. How does this guy still have a ride again? Now let's talk about the Haas guys for a second. After Latifi wrecked and out of the race, there was a safety car, and unfortunately, Mick wrecked under the safety car. And I believe his dad also wrecked under a safety car as well. But at least he has something to do with his father, and thankfully his father had a pretty decent career, all things considered. And of course, we gotta talk about this guy. Sorry guys, I have to talk about Mazepin. Honestly, he tried his hardest not to spin. I mean, sure, during practice and qualify, he was spinning all over the place, but he managed to nearly finish the race. Well, 2 laps to go, he finally did spin. But I'll give him credit for credit. At least he kept it out of the gravel this time. So I do give this a sign of progress with Nikita Mazepin. Is he the best driver on the grid? No. Is he the worst? No. I think Latifi is probably worse than Mazepin. But if you include the antics, how long is it going to be until Mazepin does something completely stupid? Only remains to be seen. But now we got to talk about the big one, the big wreck. Of course, I mentioned Hamilton. And speaking of Hamilton, he made a very uncharacteristic mistake. I believe it was turn 8, where he went off the road and nearly hit the wall. And for a split second, I thought, he's out of the race. But then, but he somehow got out of the sand trap and got it back on. But notice something was missing. What I failed to mention so far. I failed to mention Mr. To Whom It May Concern, Valtteri Bottas. Well, he was involved in arguably one of the scariest wrecks I've seen this season, and we're only 2 races in. He was involved with George Russell. So what I think happened was Russell miscalculated. The same mistake with Latifi and Mazepin, but I think Bottas didn't give Russell too much space, and we saw a lot of debris all over the place. Yeah, it was a lot of debris when Kimi had to complain about it, saying, I believe he said, I have so much fucking shit in his way, and honestly, I couldn't blame him. And I couldn't blame the stewards for waving the red flag, because that was really bad. And I should mention the Haas guys, Schumacher finished 16th, Mazepin finished 17th. And I have to say, new colors for Haas, even though, yes, the cars are basically the Russian flag, but if you look at the pit uniforms, I have to say, compared it to this is actually kind of boring. But adding the new lighter blue actually brings it life to those uniforms a little bit. It's a shame that I'll be honest, I probably would buy one, even though I'm concerned that Dmitry Mazepin's gonna screw the American fans over by saying, we're moving all our bases to England. I really hope Gene, if he's gonna sell it to Mazepin, at least have American fans in mind. That's all. Again, I have to repeat what I said there. And while we're on the subject of Checo, at the stop and go, he finished 11th. So all things considered, he nearly pulled it off. And while we're on the subject of Hamilton, he used this to his advantage. He was a lap down prior to that wreck. He managed from 8th to 2nd, which is phenomenal work for Lewis. Great recovery, if I do say it so myself. Of course, Valtteri gave Russell the bird. The bird's the word. Yeah, he flipped him off, and I'm sorry, I'm never going to perform that ever again. And man, Russell was doing pretty well. He was in the points, but I'm guessing whether it's in this race last year or the Checkered Grand Prix, George Russell seems to have shit luck. I wonder if this is going to hurt his chances at getting a ride with the Mercedes team. There's another, if Mazepin gets banned, Russell, you could go here and have a German-British team here, a BAR, or at least that's the hope. All right, as you guys know, I don't do the points here for Formula One on post-checker flag, so that's practically going to wrap this up. And overall, I should mention, Max Verstappen, what a dominating performance. And boy, that Red Bull car is going to be really scary. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. Next Formula One video will be a top 10 tracks I would like to visit video. And then the next results show from here. Hang on to your hats because we're heading to Portimao, which is in Portugal. A beautiful country I would like to visit. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell to be notified. 33 forever, baby.